again, it is great to have you here. This is our second virtual member meeting, our Thought Leadership Series, live from HQ this morning, and we are thrilled to have you. We have several guests that are joining us. We have some of our friends. I know I gave a shout out a minute ago, but some of our friends from the Association of Leadership Programs, from other leadership programs around the country. We're all learning from each other right now, so we are thrilled that some of our programs from around the country are joining in this morning as well. So welcome everyone that has joined us. And a big shout out, I just want to say really quickly, to the whole Leadership Louisville Center team, because we have been doing, we're having so much fun in this situation, being creative in new ways to bring great things to you, our alumni and our members. And so a shout out to everyone who has helped put this event and all of our future events together. I do also need to mention that we could not do events like this without the support of our partner organizations, the ones that have stuck with us for many, many years. And our Thought Leadership Series is still partnered by Baird. And in the spirit of social distancing, instead of down here and doing the welcome, we offered to do the welcome for them. So we did want to let you know that for more than 100 years, Baird has recognized the value of strong partnerships, whether it's helping people build their financial future or helping local organizations build our communities. When committed partners work together for a common cause, there's no limit to what we can accomplish. That's why Baird is honored to sponsor the Leadership Louisville Center and their member webinars. And we are honored to be sponsored by Baird. Thank you so very, very much. And again, we've got, wow, almost 100 participants in the room. Thanks, everybody in the chat room, which you can get to down at the bottom of your screen with the chat button. We are shouting out, just say hi. We'd love to hear who's here. And we'd also love to hear what you're binge watching right now. So feel free to do that in the chat room. And then in just a minute, I'm going to introduce our presenter this morning. And then we are going to convert that chat room to the Q&A. So that's where we have opportunities for you to ask questions of Karen. And the way we're going to do this is I am going to turn the floor over to Karen in just a moment, and we're going to hear a presentation from her on reducing stress, which I know is something we all need right now. The times are very strange, and we are all adapting, and we all have friends and family members that are experiencing major turmoil that we might also be experiencing a lot right now with changes in career, changes in freedom, just lifestyle. And others could be facing health losses, jobs, and things like that. So this is really a time of challenge. This presentation is especially relevant for us. And I am going to do is Karen with us and unmuted. Let's unmute Karen Newton, our presenter. Are you there, Karen?
I am. Does it work?
It does. We can hear
you.
So I am thrilled to introduce Karen Newton. Karen is a well-being and resilience integrator and a U of L adjunct faculty and an Earth and Spirit Center teacher. Karen is a certified Koru mindfulness teacher and a trainer of teachers. She served as the director of Health Promotion and Wellbeing Central, which is a division of the University of Louisville Campus Health Services, until very recently, and now is consulting with individuals and organizations to operationalize mindfulness, resilience, and well-being. Karen is also a member of the 2013 Bingham Fellows class. Karen, was that the best class ever, I'm going to guess?
Pretty much think so, yeah.
Yeah, that's what we hear a lot. So thrilled to have one of our alumni, Karen Newton, with us this morning. I am going to give the floor to Karen now to take us through her presentation. And I know this is a very interactive presentation, so there's going to be some activities we do during, and then afterwards we are going to do some breakout rooms and some connecting with fellow alumni and friends. So with that, I would like to hand the floor over to Karen Newton. Let's give a virtual round of applause to Karen Newton, everybody.
Good morning, everyone. I am so honored and full of gratitude to Leadership Louisville for hosting such an event. Building resilience in stressful times with mindfulness is certainly up my alley, and we are we may have physical distance from all of us, but I'm finding more and more that with this technology, we can actually accomplish some social connection here. So because of the focus of having not only some new neurobiology for you to contemplate, but also some practice with mindfulness, we are going to begin with a practice. And this is a settling in practice. And I teach this and guide this as a means for us to learn how to get our brains and bodies in the same room. Because we all know that it is possible for our body to be here sitting in this Zoom conference and yet to still have our mind on the morning conversation or what the to-do list is for the rest of the day. So I would invite you to just settle your gaze on the grove of Humboldt redwood trees, which are magnificent examples of resilience. Or if it's comfortable for you, you can close your eyes or just have kind of a neutral gaze. And I am going to use a tone to begin the practice and end the practice with very good neuroscience behind the practice to do this. So with full awareness of what's going on in the space around you, could be sounds from family or coworkers bustling around, could be the sound of my voice, could be the TV somewhere. Full awareness of hearing. And now train that awareness of hearing to a different sensation. I invite you to pay attention to your feet without looking at them. Just notice that there is sensation available to notice in your feet. It could be cozy socks or bare feet on the carpet, or it could be pain, it could be numbness, whatever is there to notice. There's no right or wrong sensation, simply noticing. And now shift your awareness to your breath sensation and the quality of your breath. Wherever you can most easily notice the sensation created as you breathe is where you drop your focus. It could be in your belly or your chest or in your nose, but it does provide a location that you can attach your attention. Thoughts will certainly come and go, and the practice with settling in is to simply notice a thought and remind yourself right now you have nowhere else to be except connected with this other group of curious people in a Zoom room, settling in. Now listen for the end of the tone. Now open your eyes, please, and maybe catch another glimpse of the redwood trees as we shift into some words on the screen now. So lots of purposes crammed into this brief time we have together. Sparking curiosity is probably my number one purpose for being with you all today. I do hope that you find something that intrigues you about the basic neurobiology of stress, the nature of resilience, certainly a little bit of noticing what happens in our body-mind as we practice these mindfulness meditations. I will give you actually 4 brief mindful awareness practice tools. And then I will wrap up with some resources to engage your practice if you choose to do so. And finally, in the Q&A and breakout time, there will be some discussion on how these mindfulness practice might inform your work with your teams and become even a stronger leader during this challenging time. And I would remind you once again that you are a human being, not a human doing. For at least the next 45 minutes or so, make sure all your phones and other devices are not luring you away from this space. So basic definitions, just so we're all talking the same language. When I talk about stress, I'm talking about your reactions to life that stimulate physical, mental, and emotional responses. So stress is not the stuff outside. It's not the COVID-19 pandemic. It's not the financial ruin worries. It's, all that is true. Stress is your reaction to that. And it's very stimulating, overstimulating right now towards our physical, mental, and emotional responses. And we know these from basic science and classes that we have these fight, flight responses. And it turns out we can also freeze, which is just to kind of go numb, appease, fawn, try and negotiate out of this. And then the one we're going to practice today is this notion of attending or befriending our stress responses. So just for a moment in your own mind, ask yourself, what are the stress alerts that you get from your body? What are the symptoms, if you will, that you know when your stress responses are on high alert? Could be GI distress, could be headaches, neck pain, wanting to eat more, wanting to eat less, yelling at people, lots of rage, lots of sadness. Those are all ways that our body says, please pay attention, pay attention. There's something you need to notice here. And when we have this awareness helped by our body's reactivity, then we have a choice as to what am I going to do? What are my potential reactions and responses here? So if you have a variety of reactivities going on to stress, it's not surprising because these powerful stress hormones affect every single part of us, from the brain to cardiovascular, joints, muscles, immune system, skin, gut, reproductive, every part of us. And that's why I use the term body-mind, not body and mind, because it appears to be all connected. So getting to the heart of the matter here with what is resilience, I was thrilled when Holly asked me to address this because I think the term resilience is used a lot now with not giving the full credit to the breadth and depth of this concept. So I'm going to read you my definition. You can view it on the screen too. But it's an acquired capacity to be flexible in how you think, feel, and behave when facing life challenges in order to bounce back and move forward, more capable, confident, and connected. So the bookends here for this definition of resilience, the acquired capacity. And it's not just to be able to bounce back, it's to be consistently flexible in how we think, feel, and behave when life is really hard, so that we can bounce back and move forward. So from paying attention, pivoting in the way we think, feel, then our behaviors allow us to move forward with confidence, connectedness, and capacity to respond. Make sense? I hope so. So resilience is not a solo act. That looks scary. Maybe that's what you feel like many days these days, barely hanging on by your fingers on a rock wall. But notice the hands coming in from the right side. This is my daughter climbing a few months ago, and her dear friend had her back, so if she fell, she was still safe. So the next two slides are really dense, but I put them in here because when you view this later, some of you might get intrigued with the depth and breadth of resilience when we look at it as an ecological model. And there's some fantastic people doing work. I gave you a URL here for the social resilience work going on that is really inviting us as communities to look at what kinds of biological self-regulation becomes a core competency. See those red highlighted words there? What biological self-regulation becomes a core competency in tough times? And that's what I'm talking about with this application of mindfulness to resilience and social resilience. All right, friends, time to take another breath. This is practice number 2. And I call it Take 5, and I'm including it here because this is a practice that you can do yourself. I've taught this to youngsters as young as 3 and 4, and I've also taught it all the way up to seniors. And it is something you're going to do right now. So please stretch your hand out like a star, and you can lay it comfortably on the top of your thigh. And then take your pointer finger from your other hand and place it on the thumb pad. And now just begin to trace your fingers up and down with your pointer finger. You're slowly tracing up and down, just creating sensation. Now go put your pointer finger back on your thumb pad, and this time pair your breath. As you trace up, you breathe in. Notice the pause at the top, and as you breathe out, you travel your finger down, noticing the natural pause at the bottom. You're breathing in easily, in and out through your nose with your jaw relaxed. And you're just continuing to pair your breathing in and out with the pace that you're tracing your fingers. All right, so now you got the hang of it. So let's do it one more time. So switch hands, put your pointer finger on the other thumb pad. Now this time, guide yourself to move your finger up on the in-breath, pause, down on the out-breath, pause, in on the up-breath, down on the out-breath. Guide yourself through tracing until you have completed all the way with your pinky finger. And we're going to do it just one more time here. And this time, I want you to add diaphragm breathing. If you know how to do that, this is you, as you breathe in, you use your diaphragm muscles in such a way that your abdominal wall moves out. This is a deep, deep breath. So do it again, guiding yourself, breathing in and out. And if you can, use that deep diaphragm breathing this time. And you'll notice that if you slow your rate of the pointer finger, that your breathing will also slow and deepen. And if you're using the diaphragm breathing, you've added even more here, because now you've connected through the vagus nerve to trigger the parasympathetic nervous system in your brain, slowing your pulse, slowing your heart rate. So, and slowing the release of those powerful stress hormones, the corticosteroid hormones. So bring that to a close. You can experiment on your own moving forward. So if that practice kept you focused, that was a state of mindfulness. Mindfulness is indeed a state or a quality of being aware. So when we talk about mindfulness meditation, this is a method, if you will, it's a specific process of paying attention in a particular way. And that particular way means we don't expect thoughts to stop. They become part of the awareness. And then on purpose, we learn how to select an object of focus, maybe breath, to keep us actually in the present moment, that present experience. And we do our best to do this non-judgmentally, not bad breath, good breath, just breath, noticing. So there's a whole range of meditation practices. And what I'm focusing on here today, of course, because of the simplicity and the basic relaxation that we can achieve, this is a breath-focused meditation set that I'm teaching you today. But if you get curious, there are many other forms, such as full awareness, compassion, that you can seek out and learn more. So why do we do this? Well, the purpose of meditation is certainly not to be a good meditator. We wouldn't do it unless we were getting benefits, such as the scientifically validated list here of improvements, and also things that decrease. You can think about that slide earlier of everything that's triggered by stress in your body, and this is how meditation serves to reduce that stress reactivity. So you can come back to this later, but I imagine that on this short list of why we might practice mindfulness, you'll find something that appeals to you, like right now, to reduce suffering. Everybody I know is suffering in ways we never have had to deal with before, suffering all around us, suffering with people we don't know, people we love and are responsible for. This is one of the main reasons that people come to mindfulness meditation. So a little bit about the science of mindfulness, and I'm going to just skedaddle right through this, but I want you to get some sense of why this is so powerful. We all know the phenomena of monkey mind. But scientists now know where your mind goes when it goes to the monkey mind, and it's called the default mode network. And this is a specific set of phenomena going on in the brain that have actually been identified with functional MRIs. And when the default mode network means we're not really hanging out much in that prefrontal cortex. We are mostly firing up the limbic system. The limbic system in the upper left purple slide is explaining this is the reactionary old brain, and there's a tiny little part of that called the amygdala that you see in the lower slide. That is kind of the surveillance center in this limbic system, and this is where it's like your air traffic controller. These are where the stress, worry, fear stimulus come from. But here's the good news. This amygdala phenomena of can calm after only 8 weeks of mindfulness meditation practice of 20 to 30 minutes a day. And I don't know about you, but that gets me back onto my meditation cushion on a regular basis, because I want that amygdala fear center to be as small as possible, so that we can actually become like this guy with mindfulness muscle, present moment, non-judgmental awareness with the default mode turned off. So there's so much data for you all, but perhaps those of you who are in the business world would want to look further at this particular slide. Really good study about avoiding sunk cost biases. Meditators seem to do that more effectively. And then certainly during this time, we know that meditation can increase compassionate responding to suffering, even in the face of these really strong social pressures to avoid doing the compassion actions that we are most comfortable with, which is reaching out and touching someone. These times call for us to learn how to express compassion in other ways. So we're going to take another breath-focused meditation experience here. I know I need to take the break because I've been talking quickly. I hope you're all still with me and getting a sense of the power that is tapped into when we engage in these practices. So I'm going to guide you through another breath-focused meditation, but I'm going to give you this time a set of phrases that you can pair with your breath in and breath out as another method by which you can have that busy mind given a job, basically, given a job of some repetitive phrases to engage with. So here we go. So doing a little brief body scan, as you breathe, noticing the quality of your breath. Where can you most easily find your breath sensation right now? And bring your attention to settle on that. Again, it might be the belly. And if you are feeling particularly anxious and agitated this morning, engaging in quite a bit of that diaphragm breathing is a very good way of triggering on the parasympathetic nervous system. You want to give the sympathetic nervous system a break here. That's the hypervigilant stress response. So breathing in and out. Doing your best to keep your focus on the sensation of an entire breath in, an entire breath out. If your awareness goes big, you might notice the quality of your breath and then come back to the breath sensation. Breathing in and out, kind of the physical sensation of that. And now this time on the breath in your own mind, repeat, I know I am breathing in. I know I am breathing out. Breathing in, I calm my body mind. Breathing out, I smile. I know I'm breathing in. I know I'm breathing out. Breathing in, I calm my body mind. Breathing out, I smile. I know I'm breathing in. I know I'm breathing out. Breathing in, I calm my body mind. Breathing out, I smile. In, out, calming, smiling. Do this for a few more moments on your own here. Realizing and reminding yourself that when thoughts occur, because they will, that mindful moment when you notice you're thinking is when you drop back to the breath focus again. And this might happen 100 times or more in a 5-minute sitting meditation. And that's the practice. The noticing is the observer mind. That is indeed the wise prefrontal cortex that notices your thinking and encourages you to go back to, I know I'm breathing in. I know I'm breathing out. Breathing in, I calm my body mind. Breathing out, I smile. That was a long time if you were indeed sitting and practicing. So if you want to stretch and move around, feel free to do that. It always feels good to me after a sit, even a brief one. So very quickly, so why do we practice mindfulness? To increase our stress capacity? Because the bottom line there in red is because the neuroscience tell us that there's this phenomenon of neuroplasticity, that our brain structures and biochemical responses can actually be reorganized with regular practice. So this is not something that happens with a webinar or reading books or listening to podcasts. This happens in the body as we practice. Certainly doing all those things motivates us to practice. And then we still have to do the strategies. So here's a list of strategies that all increase resilience and compassion. What we've been focusing on and talking about today is mindfulness and meditation, which is probably the most efficient body-mind method for learning self-regulation. But also these other things do increase resilience and compassion. Community protective factors, organizational practices, connectedness with other people, even with physical distance, the quality of your sleep, your nutrition, how much you're moving, relationships of support, who's got your back, writing, journaling. And then we've got a list of resources here. I'm really highlighting the Earth and Spirit Center list here because Kyle and Parker and others, along with myself, did put together a really nice list of coronavirus guidance. And when you go to the Earth and Spirits website, you can click on that underline, you'll see on the website, and there'll be a list of resources. Some of them are live that you can tap into on a daily basis for mindfulness meditation guidance. Some are recorded, so you can do them on your own time. We've got podcasts, we've got websites, we've got apps, we've got books. So there's an exhaustive list there. I'm starting to teach 2 classes actually next week. And then our own Metro government has put together something called Lift Lou, and that is up and running. There's the website. And then I offer myself as a resource. If you want to shoot me an email, if you intend to register for one of my courses, if you have a question about that, or if you have specific resources you're looking for, perhaps I can connect you. Ask a quick question. So we're going to do the final practice now before we head into our Q&A time. And the settling out is kind of the opposite of settling in, of course. It's bringing to close a certain focus that we've been maintaining here and kind of disconnecting to go into something else, which you can do coming home from being outside, reconnecting with family, lots of settings. Maybe you've had a meeting, so you all settle out before leaving the room. So similar process. I want you to fix your gaze on the view from Berea College to the mountains, or close your eyes. Notice the quality of your own breath. Maybe do a full awareness check of your own body. Are there some stress alerts going on that perhaps you can attend to? Maybe you're hungry or other things that you just can pay a little more attention to. Maybe you have some intentions for the rest of your day, how you want to show up in your day. And one thing that I would ask you to do now as a settling out is to think of everybody who has been in this room together here for a little over half an hour. And in your own mind at the tone, I invite you to say in your mind to everybody in this room, I wish you well. And I wish you all well. And we are complete.
Okay, Karen, is this where I jump back in and start helping with the Q&A?
It is. So I went ahead and put that image of the redwood trees up on the screen again. And I think now you're going to just field questions that might come in through the chat, and I'll do my best to answer them or connect folks with other resources.
I love it. Thank you so much for a great presentation. I do have to say, when I had the camera on and I was trying to do the think and the breathing, I was getting texts from my coworkers that on camera, apparently, they're like, you need to smile more. I'm like, I'm meditating here. What are you doing? Messages when I'm meditating. We would love for folks to post questions in the group chat. So down at the bottom of the screen, there's a button that says chat where you can open up a chat window. And we've got Karen for several more minutes for Q&A. So we would love to field questions right now. And I'm actually going to start because what could you do? Can you do this as a family? Like, we're in the house now. I've got 2 school-age kids. Can you do some of these practices together as a family?
Oh, I love that question. Yes, absolutely. Little bodies and minds are so receptive to this. And I think just neurologically, they're so active in the growing. I know I teach classes at U of L, and even those 20-year-old brains are much more receptive to learning and adopting this state. That yes, there's a wealth of information out there. Erin, I'll send you a couple of books. And if you look at that list over at the Earth and Spirit Center, there's a whole section in the list that was put together by one of the staffers, have how to embed this into your family relationships and your work with your kids. Yeah.
Great. We got a question here from Jerry Swinton, who wants to know, if you're leading a staff meeting, what are a couple of mindfulness exercises that could be used at the beginning and the end of the meeting? What are some quick tools maybe that you could incorporate into the workplace?
Hiya, Jerry. Nice to hear from you. And so the practices that I used here with you all today, settling in, settling out, I have used those as meeting, opening, and closing activities for years. And it helps if everybody knows why you're suddenly starting to do this, so just that this is indeed a method by which we get our bodies and minds in the same room. And the goal is for super efficiency. Nobody wants to be in a meeting longer than you have to. There's good scientific literature about that you can actually shorten the duration of meetings and accomplish more by beginning and ending with this intention to pay attention. So it is as simple as the settling in, settling out that we did today.
Okay, great. I love the idea of making meetings shorter. I think that's something that all of us would enjoy. Feel free again to post your questions for Karen in the chat room, and stick around because in just a minute when we're done with the Q&A, we are going to do some small group breakouts as well, so you can connect with each other for a few minutes before we wrap up our morning. So Meredith wants to know, helping preschool age children understand what's going on, I guess, with the current coronavirus. Any suggestions on let's see, they're not it's tough to process at a young age. I love the hand breathing activity, and we'll definitely start doing that. Any other tips for like preschoolers, for little kids, especially in a stressful time that they may not understand?
Yes, again, thank you for asking that question, and please check out that resource list at the Earth and Spirit Center, because there is kind of a child expert over there, Carrie, who has added to that list. The hand like a star, the take 5 is a really good place to start. And I think one of the most important things to do with a preschooler is to model and demonstrate to them that it's possible to be sad, upset, even crying. Those are all legitimate feelings and emotions, and it does not mean that something's wrong. It's just that this is what human beings do, and therefore we are more able to also fully experience all the love you have for them. Everything gets fully experienced. That's huge for kids, to know that mom can look really sad, but she still loves them so, so much. It's all true. I used to take care of my grandson on Wednesdays before the situation, and little Hudson is fully capable of doing focused, self-centering activities. There's another breath focus called chicken breath, and he's pretty darn good at that too. It's like a legitimate tantrum, and you can actually teach little ones how to do this wild breath kind of dance move, and they feel so much better. And especially if you do it with them, it's pretty funny.
Another question for you, Karen. This one's from Angela over at VIPS. We're thrilled to have you in here, Angela. Is it important to meditate at the same time daily? And she is asking too, how long until you can really see the benefits? Is it 6 to 8 weeks? I mean, if you get into a habit, how long is it going to take to really notice a change?
Oh, again, I love this question, because the reason that I use the tone in and out is as an example of how our body mind really loves predictability and habituation. And so as best you can, keep your meditation time consistent, but given how life is unpredictable, find the time of the day that it's most likely to happen consistently. And if that doesn't happen, oh well, do it another time. I teach a 4-week course at the Earth and Spirit Center. We're actually doing a bonus 5 weeks now. People report they feel benefits within the first week, especially with the capacity to relax and sleep. Sleep improvement happens within a week of practice. The neuroscientists say that they can actually measure brain differences in as little as 4 weeks, and it gets more robust after 8 and more. But like any other strength training, if we stop, we lose the training effect. So it's, getting it up to 10 minutes or more, and then maintaining that the best you can.
Great. Karen, this has been fantastic. We are actually gonna pause from the Q&A and switch to breakout sessions. Before we do that, I would love for everyone to turn your cameras back on so that Karen can see you giving her a round of applause. I'm going to actually take off the spotlight feature from Karen right now, go to gallery view, and we can all see the round of applause, virtual round of applause now for Karen, everybody. I'm holding a microphone, so it's hard for me to do. You can't really hear it, but this has been great. It's been great. And this is one of those skills I think you start building now. You don't wait until you need it, until stress has built up or we're in a crisis in our community. If you start practicing